Welcome back, Legion, to the final finale episode of Legend of the Five Rings Season 2. Episode 9, I think we're on now.
Things are getting spicy!
It's getting spicy. We're going to get into it in just a second. Once again, it's been an honor to be your storyteller for this season. I'm Devin.
Hi, Mike. Bayushi Shoujo.
Hi, Mike.
Bayushi Dakia.
I'm
Not
Mike.
Bayushi Shoujo. I'm not the head of my clan yet. Maybe. I don't know. Very stressed. Gotta do stuff. Move on.
Hey everybody, I'm Dave, playing Shiva Kinsuke. Things are getting spicy.
Hi everybody, I'm Sam, the production manager playing Akoto Shizuka of the Lion Clan, and things are so spicy.
And Daishi. I mean, Dom.
Hi, I'm Daishi. I'm playing Dom. I'm Dom. I'm playing Daishi Tagashi, Dragon Clan, Topaz Champion, and I'm in a secret order for a fucking murderer.
There you go. Dakio, you are welcomed into Kuchi. You are welcomed to the Scorpion contingent, obviously, into their quarters. And you are brought to Bayushi Kachiko's door. You knock on the tatami screen, and the rice screen opens with one of two Scorpion guards. One of the guards are in the far back. This one's in the front. His demonic mempo is glaring at you and immediately recognizes you. Do you have business with Kachiko-sama?
I do, of severe personal nature, and I am willing to wait for as long as it would take for that. But given the nature of things, she probably wants to talk to me very quickly.
Kachiko, despite how low register that whisper was, she did hear it. It's all right. You may leave. I believe I am safe with him. Am I not, Dakio-san? Unless something has changed between the two of us.
Apart from the normal cattiness that has flown between us in the past, for which I will apologize for.
Oh, I definitely want to be alone for this one. You can go.
Oh, it's gonna suck.
She looks, without asking, because she wants to be respectful to her son very clearly, she looks at you, drawing the attention of your eyes, and looks at her son, and you know she's asking you, is he staying or not?
No.
Dairyu, darling, you may go. All right. I bows and leaves. Don't forget your hat. And then he takes the rice hat that you've seen him around quite a bit with, that basically covers like his eyes, and places it on his head, and leaves, and closes the screen after him. Please, Dakio, do sit. Can I get you rice? Have you eaten? Have you taken care of yourself?
God, this sucks. All right, Dakio's head. Dakio's just calm in his head. Okay, I have, although I will take the rice. I am unfortunately under a matter of time, and it is of the essence.
She turns around and starts serving you the rice herself.
And I am sure that there are many things that you would like to say to me, and you are fully owed that satisfaction. However, as I said, categorically I have to speed things along, and I do apologize for that.
The joy that she previously had disappears at an instant, hearing the urgency in your voice. What's wrong?
I believe you know a man by the name of Doji Reiju.
I know of him, yes.
All right.
And there's no, you
doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be. That's not what this is about. He is under the impression that he was romantically slighted by you. Now, my honorable lady, that's not important, but it was wrong, and I've come to learn that it was wrong, and inaccurate, and the assumptions of men has been around beautiful women who are comfortable showing themselves physically, and I did not respect what you were doing, and I apologize for that, fundamentally. And I thought that reflected back on your son, and assumed that he may not have been legitimate. I've come to cross evidence that proves that is not the case. I know that your son was cursed, I know it was by a kami, and I also know who did it.
As if in answer to what you're saying, not wanting to further any additional rumors, and out of respect and proper decorum, she very clearly adjusts how she's seating. Her legs were previously out underneath it, or out of the. It was just she was showing more skin than is required.
Yeah.
You see her retract her legs and put it underneath her kimono, and her kimono arms are brought down so it covers her wrists, and serves you the rice and pours you a cup of tea.
We're about to become real good friends.
State your concerns.
I suspect the Scorpion were investigating the murder of Doji Satsumi. That's why I was put on the trail of doing so. I believe that Doji Reiju did so. I don't have evidence to do so.
That is very bold, but all right.
My lady, would you rather bold speed?
I would prefer that we be certain. Are you certain? You say you do not have evidence.
I do not have evidence. I have a reason. There's a limited category of people that can do so.
I agree. He was on my short list, but I had not garnered any final proof.
I may be about to do so. Unfortunately, I cannot do so in a way that purely excludes the Scorpion for having that information, due to the fact that it's under major Imperial investigation as well. My apologies.
I see.
Circumstances
I see.
what they are. I suspect I know whom has ordered him to do so on this path, and I believe he's been manipulated, and I believe you suspect the same person. Is that fair to say?
She nods her head.
But I would not dare say that name because that might implicate you, and for the honor of the Scorpion and for your honor as well, I will not. What I need to know is that I'm close. I can't have my evidence not line up.
I did not understand as to the why yet. Why he would have done this and arranged and made this order. He is too gentle of a soul by comparison to his elder brother. I do not think him capable of it.
A snake looks gentle compared to a lion with rabies. I'm not good with
She breaks just for a moment with a small giggle.
I'm rubbing off on you, clearly.
I'm not good with
You
metaphors.
are.
I think it's a matter of proximity, really. Anything looks minute by comparison. You
Yes.
ordered me specifically to ensure that to assist in the arrangement of a Kodo Totori to become Emerald Champion, so that way it would reflect badly on him the choice of picking Daisetsu. Is that not true?
Yes.
It may not have been you, but it was his Scorpion hierarchy order. Anyway, that's not important.
Make a what's inside in the system? Shoot. Make a awareness etiquette roll.
That is just an etiquette roll.
Etiquette roll, yeah. Because she's trying to keep her face. She's trying to keep control of her emotions.
Yeah, no, I'm not playing the game like it's normally played with us because I don't have time.
Yep, which means it's a higher TN, but I want to provide you the opportunity to notice something.
Well, that's 9 keep 4. That's kind of
Yep.
fun. I see all.
She's difficult to read at the best of times, but considering you're distracted, that was not her order. That was someone else's order. And she's shocked. You see it in her eyes, just a touch. You were ordered to ensure that Totori gets on the throne, or to ensure that Daisetsu succeeds. So that was not her ploy. That was not her ploy.
I outlined
Yes.
what the actual mission was, but she obviously
Yep.
wasn't her command.
It wasn't her command. And you notice just a tad of shock in there.
Oh, you're gonna make us friends, Devin. Fuck you. All right. I believe that the Doji Satsume was planning to ensure that Satori was going to attain the throne. I have evidence that he was researching that prior to his death. If that's the case, a new, more open-minded Emerald Champion might be more in line to do so.
Totori would follow the wishes of his friend, of the Emperor.
And I think Daisetsu knew that. The problem is, we can't prove that it was Daisetsu. Reiju can take the fall, and he more than likely will when the investigation comes to close. My assistants are doing on that, but it's further effort on behalf of the Scorpion might be needed.
Does Totori know of this? Does Totori know of any of this? Sorry, Mike. It comes to it now at the end of all things.
I know, but I have to speak to Bayushi Shoujo first about it. I cannot say at this time.
Tell me, you little
unless
troll.
you ordered me to do so, and I would rather not.
You've already answered my question. Go on.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair.
What do you need from me to keep Dairu safe?
To keep Dairu safe, he needs to remain in your care. At some point, I may, if you are comfortable with it, I have an associate who is able to put us in touch with the Phoenix Void Master.
Yes.
Who is more than likely able to alleviate that, if you allow me to initiate that conversation.
Really? Please do. Yes.
Cool.
If we can break this curse, do so.
My lady, do you have any particular instruments or fluids that loosen a man's tongue when he is intoxicated?
I know of herbs and can get that are rumored to do so. I do not know of it myself.
Of course.
But I am aware that there are such herbs that can do so. They can be acquired
Can
and
they be
brought to
acquired
you.
very quickly?
They can be acquired before you leave this compound
Excellent.
and given to you should you require them.
I would,
Guys.
if they could be done so. I believe
Gu-
that's it. And any additional evidence that the Scorpion might have that could surreptitiously fall into my possession and be put in front of a board of inquiry as legitimate would be advantageous.
I will have that for you before you leave the compound.
Thank you.
Say goodbye to Dairu before you leave.
And as I rise to do so, my lady,
Yes.
I just wish for you to know I never considered you an incomplete teacher for your son, but I did wish to offer him everything that I knew.
The Scorpion, look out for Scorpion first and foremost. The fact that you would be willing to do so shows your loyalty to your clan. I hope that your loyalty speaks well to you and weighs well on you at the end of things when all this is said and done. Thank you.
You're welcome. I go to greet young Dario. I bow before him.
I overheard the conversation.
Oh. Well, you shouldn't have, but you have. You have.
I have very good ears.
That's a good skill.
So as you leave the compound, you're given a package, and that package contains a series of pieces of information that you can use. It contains letters, and it contains letters between Satsume and the Reiju himself.
Oh God! Oh, thank God we have
that. Clearly she got stolen and taken from his quarters during her part of the investigation. And you also have the herbs that you needed.
I put the herbs in my robes accordingly to hide them appropriately.
Yep.
I'm running to Shizuka as fast as I can with these letters very securely.
So all of you are at the tournament as the Emerald Championship takes its turn. As Akoto Totori and Bayushi Aramoru take the center dais for their final contest. As they are going through the rituals, giving thanks to the kami, praying to the kami for their victory. As they move back to the side, each of their respective sides of the ring within draw distance of each other. Totori, and they both turn to each other. Totori calls out in a clear, powerful voice, "This is your last opportunity, Aramoro-san, to confess. And to confess that what has been done, to clear your name, to clear the name of you and your family. If you do not, I will find out every last piece of information that your family plans." And you hear this, Dakyo, as you are walking in and arriving at Shizuka. You see the look of confusion and concern, and suddenly the weight of that one conversation you had with him comes crashing down on you. That he's not saying what he knows, but he's hinting that he knows something, and he's hinting it publicly.
Oh, good. Everything's going according to plan.
All according to Keikaku.
Oh, thank God.
Whose plan? Who planned this?
And you see all this happens in a brief, as all of you gather around each other for safety. You find Shizuka. Shizuka's with Daishi, and you were with Kinsuke, and all of you are in the contingent of the Phoenix. And Kaide is with you, watching over her future husband do his duel. In the moments as the sun reaches its apex, in the moments before, Kaide looks to Kinsuke, and her eyes go completely black.
Oh, damn it!
And she waves her hand. Choices that need to be made, and time slows, and all of the four of you see what happens in a very slow motion. Aramoro has his hand over his blade, and before he moves to make his strike, he just subtly, just a touch, shifts his saya, and you see green flecks thrown off the butt of the weapon and hit Totori in the eyes. Totori tries to close his eyes in time as his hand is moving toward the grip of his sword, and he's momentarily blinded. And he begins to draw, and Aramoro begins to draw. And you hear Aramoro call out, "You should never have interfered!" As his sword is drawn, and Totori's sword begins to be drawn. Time catches up once again as Kaide's spell ends, and she clearly wanted all of you to see what had just happened as Totori's head rears back in pain, not calling out in pain. Aramoro's sword draws, pulls free of the saya, cuts through the space between him and Totori, and you hear as Totori somehow instinctively pulls out his sword just enough out of its saya to catch Aramoro's blade. Not able to strike himself, but able to catch it as he can't see. He reaches out, lets go of his hand of the saya, reaches out and grasps Aramoro by the throat, knowing where he is, and then draws his sword out himself. And in 2 quick slashes, something that comes only from incredible practice, draws out the sword and strikes once as the sword is coming out of the saya to feign Aramoro to lower his blade to block that card, only for Tottori to reverse the grip on the sword and strike down hard on his shoulder, slashing, and you see blood coming out of Aramoro's shoulder. And both men collapse in pain as blood is spurting from Aramoro's sword arm. He can no longer grip his sword as his sword falls free. The blade not drawing to first blood, but actually trying to stop him from striking any further. And you hear Aramoro cry in pain as Tottori's sword goes through skin, shoulder, bone, and near severs Aramoro's sword arm. Tottori simply pushes back his hand to his eyes and cries out in pain and frustration, and the match is immediately called. There's confusion all among the tournament as Tottori is holding his hands to his eyes, unable to blink and see. And then the officiant looks over, sees the blood, but is looking at Tottori, trying to determine what has happened. And a hand is raised for Tottori, seeing the blood spilled, seeing that he was the one to make the first strike and land the first blow, but immediately calling for Shugenja to come out and help both individuals. Tottori cries out, "You bastard! Ah!" flailing about, trying to look for anything. So you see Toku jumping out. He's the first to reply. Toku leaping to the aid of his master. And the moment, unfortunately, because this is still a proper contest, that Toku jumps out to help his master, this gets other Scorpion to come out of the stands and start rushing the central stage, as the guards are starting to circle around both of them. The crowd is cheering in congratulations for Tottori, but also crying out that this is a desecration of tradition, that the contest is not done. What's happening? What's going on? Kaede looks to you, Kinsuke. It looks like several of you made choices, didn't you?
We did.
I hope you're willing to live with the consequences.
So are we.
The commotion goes about and panics as Toku. You hear Toku screaming out. He turns and brazenly, regardless of tradition, draws his sword, and it needs to be held back by the rest of the lion guards as he tries to leap at Aramoro, but is held back. "You blinded him! You piece of shit! He can't see! How dare you!" And the lion are pulling him back, and as the rest of the lion come around to lower their spears in front of him, in between him and the rest of the Scorpion guards, Aramoro is not responding. He's been knocked out from the pain of nearly losing his sword arm. The officiants and several Sepun guards come in and start spreading out the two competitors, trying to establish a form of calm. There is very tense moments as the Emperor himself raises his hand to call for silence among the guards. "I need to know," he speaks out in an ageless but also very old and very tired voice, "whom my right hand will be. Please continue." As the crowd goes silent and as the contestants are still holding their swords, "Be at peace. This is a desecration on tradition and must end properly." There's a moment's hesitation, silence, as the officiant moves over and looks at each of the competitors, looks for wounds, looks for things happening, looks over their kimono for any other strikes. And in the end, the officiant turns back to the Emperor. "Highest Majesty, Son of Heaven, I present to you and to the Empire the new Emerald Champion, Akodo Tottori of the Lion Clan." And the crowd cheers in recognition, cheers that a new Emerald Champion is found, cheers that despite what seems to be a grave injury to Tottori, that the Empire now finally has everything in place again. All of the jeweled champions are filled, and things will be right and safe, and the 1,000 years of peace will continue, as the Emperor dictates that all the rest of the ground be cleared.
I look to Shizuka.
I'm going.
I go with her.
I follow
and I'm
behind
going
you.
to see about bringing Yukimi with us.
Okay. You find Yukimi, and she looks at you in confusion, and like, what are you doing? What's wrong? Is everything all
I
right?
technically outrank her now, right?
You do. Technically, she has stepped down from the position of champion.
You will come with me.
All right. She stands up, and Reiju is looking at you with you are speaking this way to one of the crowns? And he begins to motion, and Yukimi holds him off. Like, no. And Reiju is just watching you as the two of you move off. Shizuka, go ahead. So you approach the guards. You see that Toku is watching over his master as the Shigenja. There's 3 Phoenix Shigenja who are working and praying to the Kami that seem to be trying to work their magic to clear whatever this poison was and to try and heal Totori's eyes. But you can see over their shoulders and past that his eyes are a ruin. His skin has melted over top of his eyeballs, and you see that they're starting to recess inwards. But he's remaining calm in a meditative position. Toku sees you and doesn't need to really ask what's going on. He holds up his hand for the guards and points to you, Shizuka, and waves you in. Doesn't let anyone else come in, though.
If Yukimi and I are waiting to be beckoned in,
You are. Yeah.
Sorry, Sam, but just
No,
before
fine.
this, I will look to Yukimi and I will say, if you value your life, you'll cooperate. And I don't say anything else.
Devin,
Yes?
is it possible for me to get the letters to Shizuka's side, even though she's there?
Yes, you can. You would have had the opportunity while the tournament was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she has them.
Okay. All right. Totori, or you're welcomed in, you're beckoned in. Toku speaks up. My lord, Hakoto Shizuka is here to see you. I apologize, Totori says with a haggard voice, that I am not at my best when welcoming you into my company.
I bow very deeply. Emerald Champion Sama, I come with very grave news on an investigation that I was charged with.
I was not aware that you had been put on any investigation, but all right. You are still part of the Emerald Magistrates.
Agasha Sama, the Ruby Champion, had tasked me with finding out the real cause of death of Doji Satsume, the previous Emerald Champion.
You start to hear murmurs around the crowd. Totori quiets them with a wave of his hand, or actually more of a stern stop. Enough. Go on, Shizuka-san.
I have reason to believe I have found the murderer, and possibly...
Do you have those who can testify and evidence to present?
Yes. If this is not enough, then I will, of course, challenge the one I believe.
His head raises, and you can see a register of concern even though you can't see his eyes. You are certain enough that you would do this?
Yes. I stake my honor on it.
Toku, go tell the Emperor that I have a statement to make. Everyone else leave, aside from Shizuka-san and anyone else who she wishes to stay. Shizuka, I would need to know whom you are accusing before you do so publicly. Toku asks, Sir, may I stay to at least watch over you? I am with Shizuka-san. I need no other protection. Ensure that the matter
Shizuka
gets
sort of
safe.
stops for a second.
Toku looks up, looks at you, and smiles. Against all decorum, sort of walks past you and pats his hand on your shoulder, Shizuka. Gives you a squeeze of support, again, against proper decorum. And nods his head.
I am going to ask for my teammates.
Okay, all right.
Because they're right there, and I'm like,
Yep.
get over here. You have the rest of the fucking stuff.
Very well. Present your evidence to me.
The evidence that I have currently right now is against Doji Reiju.
Satsume's old aide, I believe.
Yes. There are multiple things that unfortunately complicate this further.
Yukimi, you can see feels tense. She's not moving. She's not doing anything, Daishi, but she just feels tense the moment that Reiju is accused of something, and she looks very confused.
I look back to her and I give a very, very light smile. And just a sort of look that says, remember what I said.
Doji Reiju was thrown out of the Doji Satsume's household because of his improper conduct with, unfortunately, Bayushi Kachiko.
With Kachiko-sama, it was only publicly known that it was inappropriate behavior. Do you have testimony from Kachiko-sama that this would be the case?
He at least coveted her.
I see.
Which is still against proper decorum.
Dakio, you do know that in one of the letters, there is likely support for this information.
I know. I probably had a chance to paw through them.
Yes. Yeah.
I slowly slide them away and paw through to find the one, and I slide it forward.
There are letters here from Reiju-sama to Satsume, and likewise, and vice versa.
I will have someone verify Satsume's hand. I would not ask Kachiko-sama to state this publicly. I have issue with Shoju's brother, not with Kachiko herself.
There may be reason to believe that it wasn't just Doji Reiju.
If this is true, then you are one of my magistrates, and I need perfunctory truth from my magistrates. Do you understand?
Yes. Doji Satsume was prior to his death, was looking into the imperial succession.
And you see somehow his head looks at Dakio for a moment without even being able to see where Dakio is.
Yeah.
And then turns back to you.
Unfortunately, there are some other things which do lead towards possibly somebody else telling Reiju to do this, as he's not only the perfect candidate to do so, but also the only one who has the perfect reason.
This is very believable. So someone to whom Reiju owes a great deal of allegiance and love.
Exactly.
You hear Yukimi just whisper just ever so softly, "No, no." You hear that, Daishi. She seems unable to believe it.
Because of this, I have only one other proof for that. Kachiko's son, Dairyu.
Yes.
He is cursed via a
Is
comet.
he?
His eyes have changed color. They are now blue. And Kinsuke-sama and Kaede-sama's handmaidens have been affected because of this. In fact, one of them had actually perished because of the kami's wrath.
I was not aware that the kami were angry at this moment. Do we know why the kami would have done so?
It is because of this new magic that we believe. Mehihado?
Yes, Meshido. Yes,
Meshido.
I've heard of it in reports.
Meshido has the ability to command the kami to do things as opposed to asking the kami. And there is only one known sorceress at this time.
And a low-ranking unicorn would not have the ability to order Reiju to place a curse upon the young lad.
Exactly.
This will not be entirely sufficient to follow up on who gave him the order, but with this letter, as long as it is corroborated with Satsume's handwriting, would be enough for a challenge. Are you sure you're willing to do that?
I am, sir.
Devin, I will turn to Yukimi and just sort of whisper under my breath, "Did you know about any of this?"
I knew that Reiju hated Dairyu, but I didn't know why, and that poor boy.
Totori-sama, there is one other aspect of this and I look to Yukimi, that we would like to inform you of.
Go on, Champion-sama.
Among the previous Topaz champions, there is a club, if you will, known as the Obsidian Crowns, all centered around one individual. Doji Reiju is among and is very close to the individual that founded it. I was recently brought into the Obsidian Crowns. However, Yukimi-san has been around for a while. And it is my understanding that she has been investigating, and I give her a look, matters related to this.
I'm going to give him a look. It's like, okay.
And she would like to say what she knows.
I have seen Shahai-san working magic, though I did not understand the purpose of it. I am sorry, Emerald Champion Sama, for not being more diligent in my duty as a former champion to investigate further. I was blinded by my closeness to the rest of these individuals, as Daishi-sama says. Reiju-san did say that perhaps we could use Dairu as an example of her capabilities. She assured us that he would not be harmed. She assured us that he would be safe. I will admit that I did not understand what was staring me right in the face. I'm sorry. And she drops to her knees and bows before the Emerald Champion. Well, there we have it, a little bit of testimony that we need, and the letters that we need. Let's get this distasteful business done with. And you all rise and follow Tottori out.
As we are walking, I want to do two things.
Yep.
I want to sort of speak to Akoto-san and say...
Shizuka or Tottori?
Sorry.
There's two Akotos.
There are two Akotos.
San would be Shizuka. Dai-sama would be Tottori.
Yes.
Shizuka-san, please be on your utmost guard. Reiju is of iron skill. And then I will peel back and just put a as comforting as possible hand on Yukimi's shoulder.
She slows her step a little bit to indicate that she wants to be at the back of the contingent.
Yeah, I'll be there.
And as the rest of the contingent goes out into the courtyard, she reaches for your hand. Thank you. I did not deserve that.
Unless you know otherwise, you have always struck me as an honorable and good individual. And I couldn't have lived with myself if I knew that you would have been dragged down in this.
You step out onto the tournament field. Akoto Tottori calls for silence and makes the announcement, lays out the information as he knows it, calls for Shizuka to lay out her information as well, calls for Yukimi to state what she says. And the uproar is starting to get more and more and more, and the Emperor himself eventually needs to quiet proceedings. And eventually, once all is said and done, and Shizuka makes her accusation, Reiju stands and glowers down at her. The murderer of the champion, the one who started this story, makes his way down to the ring. And as he steps foot on the sands, I declare my intention to prove myself before the kami. Tori says, that is your right. Step forward into this ring.
Kami are being manipulated. Where's the person who does the thing?
Currently having a conversation with the fucking police.
Mm-hmm.
Are they?
Yep.
Are they?
She is under guard right now.
Okay, good. Can I make some tea for the combatants?
Man, this tea is off, you guys.
I think Mike is genuinely asking if he could offer them some fucking truth tea beforehand.
Truth tea!
How
I imagine
high?
that there's Dakio just trying to come up with, I've got tea, and then there's Shizuka going, get the fuck away, get away, get away.
Attention is drawn to the center dais, as Akoto Shizuka, dishonored and disgraced, but 1 month ago, takes the stage. And Doji Reiju walks forward and stares down at you, for he's just a little bit taller. You are making the gravest mistake you will ever make in your life. Those who are above me and those who aid me will see you dead if you continue with this path. You can still stand down now honorably. Say that you made a mistake. Say that you are wrong. And walk away.
I'm gonna look back at Toku.
You see a smile that you haven't seen in over a decade. A smile that you saw through flickering firelight. A smile that you saw when everything else was crumbling all around you. And it gives you warmth. It gives you reassurance.
I look back at Doji Reiju and I go, I fight for the betterment of Rokugan. Rokugan is my charge, and therefore I will do everything I can to protect it. Even if it means stepping over you.
He takes a deep breath. and goes back to a standing position. And the two of you hit your spots for your draw.
This is a bit of a weird question, but
Go ahead.
by any chance would I be able to offer Shizuka one of my void points?
No, but she has her void points and her honor roll. If she still wants to use it, she has all.
I wondered if I could offer that.
No. Yeah, it's all right.
You really want to stack the deck so she wins.
Yeah.
I will
right.
huck a thing of tea, a full fucking kettle at this motherfucker so she wins.
Sam, what are you using? What mechanics are you using? I've queued up my roll. I want you to say what you're doing and queue up your roll, and we'll roll at the same time and see what the commies say.
Okay. For mechanical roll, is it better to do my honor roll for the EA Jutsu for assessment first? Or should I do it for the damage?
We're just doing a single roll. I want to make this dramatic. We're just doing the strike roll. We're doing the strike roll.
Well, then I'm going to throw... Okay, is that still EA Jutsu or is that Kenjutsu?
It is still technically Iaijutsu, unless you can use Kenjutsu for your dueling rolls, which I'm not sure if you can as part of your class.
I don't know, but I know I have Iaijutsu and Kenjutsu, so...
There you go.
I'm looking.
And if that's the case, then I'm going to throw my honor roll on top of that.
Okay.
Which will bring up my roll from a 9 keep 4.
Replaces the honor replaces your stat. So what is your current fire ring?
My current firing is 2, but my Iaijutsu is keep 4.
Sam, what rank are you in the Akodo school?
Rank 1.
Fuck. Could you be rank 2?
I think. Where is she not rank 2 from? Like
All the level?
I was been giving you guys experience points, so it depends on whether she spent them, whether she got it to rank 2 or not. Ideally, all of you should be rank 2 right now.
Okay, everybody, what's points? How many points do you have? Because I have.
I have insight 151.
I'm rank 2.
That should put me at rank 2.
I only have 138. I guess I haven't been putting in my.
I imagine you haven't been putting in, because if they're at rank 2, then you should be at rank 2
I
as
should
well.
be rank 2. So yeah, we'll just say that I'm at rank 2 then.
Ideally,
During
yes.
a skirmish, you may add your... It's not a skirmish, never mind.
Honor roll is so it doesn't replace your Iaijutsu. Your Iaijutsu stays. It replaces your agility.
My agility.
So what is your current agility? Because that's
3.
added to your Iaijutsu. 3?
Yeah.
So your honor rank is what?
6.
6. So it becomes 6 added to your Iaijutsu. So 6 plus Iaijutsu is what?
Iaijutsu is 9 keep 4.
So you have Iaijutsu rank 6 then?
Rank
Is that
5.
correct?
T5.
Rank 5. Okay, so that goes to 10, which increases a kept die by 1 for every one that you go above 10. So that means you are 10 keep, and you said your honor rank is 6?
6.
That's 10 keep 7, because you keep your honor rank, because it
Fuck 'em up,
replaces
baby.
your fire trait. So it's 10 keep 7.
All right.
Tear his leg off and beat him with it.
Cut his cock off!
Let me know when it's written in.
So
All right.
nervous, guys.
It's written in.
All right. 3, 2,
I can't look.
1, go.
44.
Yeah!
Oh shit!
Does that mean you cut him in half?
I doubled it.
Fuck
so
this man's day.
So, since this is a duel for honor, and it's a duel of combat,
Yep.
this is a duel to the death, so tell us a story.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I stand there, guns akimbo. No, I stand there with my hand over my sword, waiting for him to move. As he makes his first move, I quickly draw and slice. As he goes over my head, I duck, slice, and up across his chest.
And you pass him. As you're doing so, 1 heartbeat, 2 heartbeat, 3 heartbeats. The sacred number passes in heartbeats. And suddenly, blood pools across from the top of his shoulder down to the bottom of his stomach. As Reiju coughs, blood drops on the ground. And Doji Reiju, murderer of the Emerald Champion, drops dead at Akodo Shizuka's feet.
Or technically behind me, but you know.
There is no cheer in this. There is no celebration. But duty has been done. Akodo Totori steps up and looks to you and calls out to the tournament crowd. Akodo Shizuka, kneel before me, please.
Of course, I could just kneel real quick.
For having completed your request on my behalf of investigating the murder of Right Honorable Doji Satsume, and completing that task by bringing honor to the crane and showing that it was a rogue element of their ranks, not the clan itself. I award you the rank of... Oh, I don't actually have one. Toku, bring me a badge. And Toku walks forward, hands a small satchel. You'll need to get this sewn on. And I do believe your friend Dakio is a tailor, is he not?
That he is.
I did this.
I bestow upon you the rank of Emerald Magistrate, first tier. And the crowd roars and cheer now, for this is a moment of celebration.
Yay!
And I restore your honor. For none can counter the request and the order of the Emerald Champion, save the Son of Heaven himself. And with that, the tournament comes to a close. Celebrations happen. The award ceremony is done. And in the end, Okoto doesn't gain back sight in all of his eyes, or both of his eyes. They've only been able to repair one. And all who look on Tottori during this time have an interesting moment of realization that it is the same eye that the founder of the lion, Okoto himself, had scarred. And Tottori is now known as the second One Eye, the second Okoto One Eye, the second coming of the kami of the lion.
Yeah, but his wife's like super magic. She's probably put a bit kick-ass like magic eye in the other one.
Maybe.
It's probably made like a
And as celebrate
jade bullet that shoots out at his fucking enemies.
And as celebrations happen, other awards are done. Seppu Nishikawa awards Shiba Kinsuke training in the Seppu Hidden Guard for bringing this threat to the Imperial line and to the Emerald Champion to light, and doing it in a manner that still befits the honor of the Emperor's son and the honor of himself.
Oh, that's fucking kick-ass.
I hope Agasha's not mad at me for going above her. Kind of important.
Yeah, do we get feedback on that?
Agasha Sumiko speaks to the two of you privately and thanks you for bringing honor once again to the ranks of Topaz champions. She understands now why Satsumai did not let her get involved in this matter.
And why it was really important that the Emerald Champion be the one that do this.
And I assume you tell her the full reasoning as to why.
Yeah, for sure.
And she thanks you and thanks the Topaz champion for his great works, and that he has done well and has proven himself a more than capable champion in the year to come. And if I can be indulged the audience another perhaps 10 minutes, there's one, perhaps two final scenes that we need to do. As everyone goes their separate ways. A month or two later, or travel time takes one, Rokugan. At the Castle of Lies, the Castle of Beauty, the Castle of Flowers Among the Weeds, the capital of the Scorpion clan.
Dakio power out.
Oh, Dakio's you're about to see what the fuck I was up to, and Devin's gonna yell.
Dakio arrives at the palace on personal request of his champion.
Yep, that's fair.
And he enters into the chambers. And you know that around you are all of the various individuals, many of whom are not happy with you for what you've done.
Oh, I'm about to power trip. This is so cool.
And you see, actually, Bayushi Aramoru leaving the quarters of his brother. And you see that his kimono has been cut to accommodate an arm that has been healed by magic, and a horrible scar that has healed and kept his arm in place, but he clearly is no longer able to use it. His arm hangs limply by his side and is tied in this intricate mechanism to his chest. His sword arm no longer functional because of Tottori, and by a certain extent because of you.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't like Amara anyway.
He looks at you deeply cold. Stand aside, please. Let him come in. And Aramoro stands aside, and you enter the quarters of Bayushi showed you. His mask, nothing but beautiful black and red lace from one ear to the other. His hair tied back in a high top knot. And piercing black eyes. The proper eyes of him and his son.
Ah, master. I bid you greeting. I think my mission couldn't have been a greater success.
You believe is a success, do you?
Well,
enlighten me.
Aramoro's arm is a respectable tragedy, of course. He's an incredible swordsman. But I can't be held accountable for where that went wrong. Otherwise, I couldn't be happier with how everything worked out.
Explain yourself.
Well, Akoto Totori had determined that he had been put in the tournament against his will, and I told him absolutely everything, and I could not be more pleased with that outcome. Could you?
It is perhaps not the outcome that I had envisioned, but I cannot help but believe that Totori will do a good and fine job at keeping the Empire safe in the short term.
My champion. That is not what I'm referring to.
What is your reference then?
For the low cost of a small plan of making Totori have a challenge against his honor, you now have a Scorpion agent that the Emerald Champion trusts on a plan that had already been compromised by that man. I failed to see what more I could have done. I now have the trust of the Emerald Champion. Implicit, I would almost say. And I am, as always, your man. Master.
I had not considered that.
You have much to consider. That is why you allow us to. I regret that, unfortunately, that your plan came undone, and I could not preserve it. I hope you will bear me some originality on my part. And if that is too much, Bayushi Dakio accepts your judgment.
There are those among the ranks that know of my plan, that know what my intention was. And now you have outdone that. Despite the advantage in the short term, you have outdone my long-term plans that my higher-ups... No, Daisetsu will not be emperor. Satori will be emperor, and that will go very badly for us all.
Oh, I don't question that.
How would you suggest that I handle a subordinate who has seen fit to undo my plans? How would I look to the rest of my lieutenants, to the rest of the family? How would I look to my brother if I do not punish someone who has lain waste to my plans for so long? And he says this with no small amount of warmth and appreciation for what you've done.
I would cast him out from your house. Of course, you can always keep in contact with him as you need to, but mark him as a Scorpion that you cannot trust. Oh, if only there were a place that would take such a man who has so publicly been decried by the Scorpions.
That is a good idea.
Oh, thank God.
Meanwhile, Mike is like, oh, fuck.
And you look in your champion's eyes. You would be willing to do this. You would be willing to be cast out of your clan, marked as not being trustworthy by any member of our clan. You would be willing to do this in favor of something far more serious. And he places a dagger on the table, and you know that seppuku is not what he's...
Yeah, he's asking for this. I meant only slightly dishonored and out of favor within my court, but if my champion requires that of me...
It's not that I require a dakyo. It is what I need to do. My lieutenants are demanding that you be placed in the grove. And he says that with deep threat.
Then if that is what is required, my champion. And I whispered to him, but we both know this isn't the first time I've severed ties for you.
You are always putting our clan first.
My champion, you know me better than that. I'm having too much fun.
Good. There is a great deal of concerns that I will have in the coming months.
Indeed.
A great deal of problems of what will happen now with Satori in place. I need
to
you by his side. I need you to watch over them. I may be required to make choices. Choices that will look distasteful to the rest of Rokugan now. Choices I was hoping I would not have to make. And you need to ensure that Totori sees the right of it, sees the necessity of it.
I will do that to the best of my ability, sir. After all, I've always thought you would make very good friends. And I take the knife. Sever. Is there anything else, or does anyone around here want me to give up a pinky?
That's for thievery.
He very quickly jots down a letter and hands it to you. Give that to your friend Toku. I do believe he will welcome you into his company. You are such good friends, after all, from what I understand.
Well, I grow on people.
Oh, it went off perfectly! God, I'm a genius!
So choices have been made. And history continues on. History of conflict. History that would see the 1,000 years of peace brought low. For Satori, Ante Satori, the cruel, the malicious, does take the throne, and Hante Dasetsu does not. Whether that will actually be better or worse for what has to come and what will come to pass, we do not know. But history has occurred, as Kaide said, down a particular river. And all of you have been carried along that river. And that river brings us to one final scene. To a camp. A camp not of peace. A camp not of practice. Not practicing war, but engaging in war. Shizuka, not Akodo Shizuka. Shizuka. The 10 flap opens. Lieutenant, calls a samurai who looks over to you. Your face aged with time and drawn with lines of worry and pain and struggle. The general wishes to see you. They are here. They are waiting for you. Dakio is with him, but Daishi and Kinsuke are arriving. He bows and opens the tent for you. And as you step outside, you look to your sete, you look out at this war camp that is large, massive, thousands of samurai looking out. And across the plain, you don't see the beautiful fields, the golden fields of the lion, for barley and wheat are not here anymore. The lands are dark. The lands have been drawn out with rot. The lands have been plagued by dark magic. The lands are not as they should be. This isn't the 1,000 years of peace anymore. And you move through the camp filled with armor that was once lion. Armor that once displayed the beautiful deep browns and golds of the honorable Akodo. But they're no more. The mons are ripped away from their kimonos, and no lion is seen. Instead, the lion has been replaced by the wolf in their mons. This is not an army of lion. This is an army of wolves, an army of ronin, an army of wave men. You look out toward the main camp approaching, and walking away from the devastation, you see a green army. And Kinsuke, as you are moving with this dragon army, you come to stand with Shizuka, and you remember a vision that you had some 13 years ago about one of those possible rivers, of you and Shizuka and another man who you recognize as Toku approaching and giving a deep bow to yourself and to you, Kinsuke, welcoming you to the camp. And behind you is the wave of green. The Kaide was right all along. Choices would lead down one of these rivers. And beyond, you look past that wave of green, this army of dragon that is being led in part by Togashi Daishi, former Topaz champion, now one of several generals of this dragon army. And you look out across the devastated fields at Otosanuchi, a city not beautiful anymore, but cast down. A city in ruins, a city surrounded by greens and blues and reds of Maho magic, a city fallen to darkness. And the two of you are welcomed into General Totori's tent. And all of you realize that this is the first time the four of you have been together since that fateful day at the Emerald Tournament, since that fateful day 13 years ago, when you last saw each other. And 13 years to that day, you are meeting with General Totori and his lieutenant, Shizuka, to plan the invasion of the imperial capital. And that is where we will end Season 2 of Legend of the Five Rings.
Devin, what was I dressed as? What was I dressed as?
You were dressed as? You were dressed as in Sapoon armor.
Yeah.
You were dressed in Sapoon armor, but it's armor that has not been cleaned in quite a long time. It's seen a lot of travel, a lot of wear.
Oh,
Dom, you okay?
that's all right.
I think we fucked up. Guys, I think we fucked up.
No, we didn't. This was actually the better option.
It is?
So,
Yeah.
thank you for all the fans. Thank you to all the Legion. It's been an honor to be your storyteller for the season of Legend of the Five Rings. And whenever we next get around to the next season, we'll be telling the story no longer of the 1,000 years of peace, and we'll be beginning the tale of the 1,000 years of darkness. And I've been Devin, your storyteller.
I'm Mike. I am Bayushi Dakyo. I stand by my decisions because I can swim.
Hey everybody, it's Dave here. I'm playing Shiba Kinsuke, now of
Sepun Kinsuke.
Sepun. What?
Sepun
My
Kinsuke.
family
You are part of
changes?
the Sepun family now. You are a hidden guard. You've been brought in to the
Excuse me.
imperial households.
Excuse me, I gotta change something on my character sheet.
Just your family name. You'll get other
Sepun
classes,
Kinsuke.
but your family name is now Sepun. You're part of the imperial households now.
Well, that makes me smile.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sam, the production manager, and now I am just plain simple Shizuka.
It gets addictive, doesn't it?
I'm Dom. I'm former Topaz champion General Togashi Daishi. What the fuck, Devin?
We'll talk about it in the debrief.
Yes, please.
Anyway, yes. So thank you, Legion. Hope you enjoyed this season. Looking forward to doing another one down the road. And yeah, thank you for sharing in this story with us as we have adventures and tell stories in the fallen empire of Rokugan. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.